Hey, how y'all doing? I hope this video is finding you in good spirits. And if it's finding you in bad spirits, hopefully you'll have some good spirits after you leave this video, okay? Hopefully we can get some of that bad energy about of you. But before we get into anything, please go like my But like my most recent Instagram post, my Valentine's Day shoots, I had a lot of fun with that. I did like a little twist on a love story. It was like a American fashion brand love story. It was, it was cute. I enjoyed it. I looked good, so please go support it if you can, if you feel like supporting this, that, the other. I know y'all come here for the YouTube, not the Instagram talk. So today we're gonna be talking about how victim mentality, that quote getting thrown around a lot, is typically a lot of times have been being used to gaslight individuals. So let's get into it. Now, everybody goes through things. Everybody has their life trials and tribulations, right? Everybody has been a victim of something at some point, or been a victim of someone at some point. There are cases that are more extreme, of course, and then there are cases that, are like everyday little things, but one can find themselves being a victim in a lot of aspects in life. Now, victim mentality, from my perspective, from my understanding, is defined as someone who is constantly in a mind state of victimhood, who is in every situation, whether like you're telling them about how your dog died, they're gonna make it about them, how they're like the victim, even though your dog is the one that died, like that kind of stuff, and just always perpetually expressing their victimality or whatever. And that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about people who speak out against their abusers. We're talking about people who speak out against their oppressors. We're talking about people who are speaking their truth. Let me get this right real quick, because I gotta. That's right. A lot of right-wing individuals and a lot of black and white thinkers and a lot of non-empathetic people, highlight on the non-empathetic people, tend to use that term to try to gaslight individuals out of their experiences. For example, a black person, speaking out against my not even against, just speaking out about my experience as a black person and speaking my truth and speaking on the things that I experienced, my black experience, and then a white individual seeing my words, getting triggered by that, and then coming under my comment, or coming under my just commenting, critiquing, by saying I'm a victim, by saying that I'm trying to make myself a victim. The issue with that is, one, the oppression is continuous. It's not like this was a one-time instance and now for 50 years I personally am always like, yeah, I can't trust these white folks because this one white man, this one time he did this to me, and I just oh my god, it's just so much which I'm not talking about PTSD, that's a whole nother realm. But and that angers me, because people are entitled to their truth. People are entitled to speak out and speak up about the things that their debtors have done to them. I know me personally, dealing with narcissistic abuse growing up and stuff, I get gaslit a lot. So it's like, it's easier for me now to notice when I'm being gaslit, one, or notice when there's an abusive person critiquing me, saying that, I'm trying to make myself a victim. When in actual reality, it's just like, these are just the facts. If you see me as a victim, you see me as a victim. I'm not trying to perpetually make myself a victim. I'm not putting myself in instances to be a victim. It's just the fact of the matter. And I know some people say that this victim mentality thing is like a mindset. It's like a mindset of victimhood. But that if that essentially within itself and used in improper ways is just literally gaslighting yourself. You're literally telling yourself, okay, let me minimize this situation, not for healing and for growth and to learn from the situation, but let me minimize this situation so that I don't let it be a victim, so that I am not able to say I'm a victim, because if I'm a victim, that means I'm weak. That means I'm looking out for pity. That means I'm having a self-pity party. I cannot be weak. I cannot be a victim. That gives the victimizer, that gives the abuser all the power, when in actual reality, if that works for you, that's fine. But don't project that onto everyone else. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's fresh on somebody and stuff. People are going to talk on their experiences. We all use our experiences to interconnect with each other and to relate with each other. So me bringing up an experience or speaking on an experience to the other is not me trying to make myself a victim. It is me literally speaking my truth. And that is what people will try to silence. And it's truly just, at the end of the day, it's just annoying, really. You take as much time as you need to heal from whatever's going on. You take as much time as you need to assess the situation, to take accountability where you take accountability, try to get others to take accountability for their actions, because trying not to be a victim is essentially not holding people accountable. It's denying yourself healing, and essentially it doesn't help anyone but the person that did something to you or the instance that is perpetuating. Okay, now I fully read victim mindset and I get it now, and I want to touch on instances where I have been in the victim mindset and how I grow from that as well, because I have to give a full perspective. Something I've had to catch myself doing, and sometimes I'll be on a walk and someone will look at me a certain way or whatever, or ignore me when I tell them, hey, how you doing? And essentially I had to learn, and part of that came from that negative self-talk and my trauma, but I had to learn that, hey, that person may not be worried about you. That person may just be having a bad day, that grows my empathy, this, that, the other, and just my awareness of myself. But I had to realize, like, not everyone's always out to get me. And I say that in a sense of, I was bullied when I was younger and stuff. And so I became extremely self-conscious of my body and how I moved and how I talked and this, that, the other. So when you're in that state of mind and you take on that type of trauma, it can make you always hyper aware of everything and hyper aware of if something is about to go down, because you've been put in this fight or flight response so many times, and you're just essentially trying to protect yourself. So that's the part of the healing that I'm talking about, is, being very aware, like I'm already saying, like being aware of yourself and knowing, like, hey, and using your discernment, like, hey, this instances were really, 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 really reminding me of my past. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to play out in that same way. You get what I'm saying? This person is not that person, even though, we know, especially as a neurodivergent person, I notice patterns and stuff, and I can see when something is becoming something, because it has happened time and time again. I know my intuition and this, that, the other. So that's another aspect of it. Don't deny yourself your intuition as well. But on a day-to-day basis, when it comes to your negative self-talk and how you use your environment to talk bad about yourself and make yourself feel bad, that's you victimizing yourself. And you have to become aware of that, and you have to grow from that. You have to remove yourself from these situations, or remove your trauma from these situations in some instances. But in other instances, when it's very apparent and you're using your discernment and you know that someone is trying to do something to you or trying to wrong you or whatever, that's when, whatever. But yeah, I want to make sure I said that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of times people are in the mindset, a lot of masculine men are men that try to perpetuate and portray masculinity. They feel like victimhood and all that stuff is in the whole realm of being weak. And I already touched on this, and that's who I hear from a lot of times is a lot of men, especially white men, because ultimately it makes them feel guilty and it makes them feel bad that they did something to someone, and now someone is trying to hold them accountable. They don't have the emotional intelligence and emotional wherewithal to be able to deal with taking accountability. So therefore, they want to hurl insults at you. They want to invalidate your experience, and they want to make you feel bad for being victimized. You know what I mean? Or acknowledging your victimization, or acknowledging your victimhood in whatever sense. Being black and being queer in America is not like, the civil rights movement of the 60s when it came, Stonewall came and went, and everything just became all jolly, happy, or whatever. There are still raging racist people out here. There are still microaggressors out here. There are still extremely, extremely homophobic people out here. There are still people using Christianity and the Bible to condemn people. Yet, when those people speak up about the continuous oppression and a continuous abuse, you make an insult for them calling you out. You make an insult to make them gaslight themselves and make them essentially stunt their healing just so you feel better about yourself, or feel better about purposefully trying to hurt people. Because at the end of the day, a lot of these people that say these things are just trying to have a clear conscience. They want to be able to do bad and not be reprimanded for doing bad. They want to be able to do bad to you and you not speak up about it. And that's so toxic. And it's so I just really want to just make this video just to say, like, you are entitled to your feelings, and you are entitled to your stories and what you went through. Now, I will say on the flip side of things, eventually you are going to have to heal. And healing does not mean forgetting the situation. Healing does not mean you have to necessarily forgive that person. I know everybody in the Christian Bible and the Bible is like all about forgiveness and stuff. You don't have to forgive and forget. You can remember, because when we remember things, bad things that happen to us, we can avoid them in the future. And if you're trying to forget and forgive in the name of not being a victim, you're only going to hurt yourself going forward. You're only going to make yourself open to being victimized again, because you denied yourself your truth, and you denied yourself knowledge and acknowledgement of yourself and of your situations, and you denied yourself community within a community of people and things and resources that could help you, in your healing journey. But because you want to be okay and fixed already, you want to be fixed so bad, you want to be, you want to be okay again, you just deny yourself those things. And for some people, they may think that's healthy, but at the end of the day, your body is going to remember all of those things. So when that anxiety is coming up and that depression is coming up and you're just like wondering why things just aren't going your way, it's because you haven't acknowledged the things that have happened and are continuously happening to you. And when you shut a blind eye to those things, they keep affecting you. They keep permeating you, because acknowledging and speaking it out is a part of learning and being able to be more armored the next time you encounter certain situations. It allows you to have the tools to be able to protect yourself in further situations, whatever that means for you in whichever situation. And for the people that continuously tell people they're trying to make themselves a victim and don't be a victim and da 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 da, essentially, fuck you, truly, because you are some of the scum of the earth. I know that, and I know it's a little wild for me to even talk bad about you, because essentially you were told to deny yourself healing, and you were told to deny everything that has ever happened to you or happened for you to grow. Like, you were taught to ignore those things, and so you feel like everyone else should be doing the same things because you endured and you made yourself do this, that, the other, when essentially that just makes you an unhappy individual at the end of the day. And all you do, you make it, and you may not consciously notice, but subconsciously you want everyone else to feel the same way that you feel. You want everyone else to take on the burdens that you have taken on. You get what I'm saying? You want everyone else to not speak out and speak up about the abuse that happens to them, because that's what you did. But I'm here to tell you, no matter how long it's been, you have the right and you have essentially the duty, a lot of times, depending, to speak up, or at least speak up to yourself and acknowledge what happened to you and what you went through, because that mattered and that changed you. No matter how much you want to deny it, it changed your outlook on life, and it changed the chemicals in your brain. It changed you at the end of the day. So you don't have to always live in that mindset and that hurt, in that whatever happened. You don't always have to live in that, but know that sometimes you have to go through those things, acknowledge those things, and like be able to look at it, get to a point where you can look at it from an outside perspective, know that it happened to you, and then be able to use it for good at the end of the day. Be able to use it to try to help heal someone else. Be able to use it to give someone else advice, not to put more negativity in the world. So I just want to talk on the victimhood mind state. I'm going to touch on that a little bit more before I go. Every day is a new day, and every day we have new obstacles or new perspectives to gain, wisdom to gain, and maybe even things to celebrate and things to be happy about. But when you live in a country, in a society that constantly is trying to tear you down and constantly trying to deny you your humanhood, it is essential and it is imperative that you acknowledge the truth of the matter, acknowledge that this is happening, this is going on, this is a real thing. taking the steps to protect yourself, and also fighting the systems that continue to perpetuate the things that essentially make you oppressed, and the things that essentially make you, be in these situations to where you could be considered a victim. And with all of this that I'm saying, you can't, at the same time, duality, you can't live in those low places all the time. You have to go through those low places and acknowledge those low places and get your rest. Because a lot of times with some people's depression, it's just a lack of rest and a lack of, self-care, and not, truly taking care of oneself, because you want to be so masculine and you want to get things done and you want to hustle, and you deny yourself rest and you deny yourself peace of mind, and that will keep you in a low vibration and keep you in a low space. You have to do things every day to try to do better. That's not to say that these things didn't happen to you, but at the same time, you have to practice being knocked down and getting back up. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get back up, but consciously be aware of yourself and aware of your emotions and aware of what you're going through, and consciously start from the foundation and work your way up every single time to get back up. You get what I'm saying? Some days, some weeks, some months, you may be feeling like you're down for the count, but that's when you lean on your community, your wider community. That's when you lean on your more pleasurable things in life, and you try to take, exemplary care of your body, like eating proper foods, eating fruits, drinking water, drinking teas, taking care of yourself so that you can be able to heal yourself, to be able to stand up again and continue walking. Because these negative forces and these negative people, at the end of the day, that's what they want you to be. They gaslight you by saying victim mentality, this, that, the other, and this, and whatever else they have to say. But at the same time, they want you to be in those spaces. They want you to not know yourself. They want you to not be aware of yourself and aware of your surroundings and aware of what's going on with you. That's what they want at the end of the day. They want you to not be self-aware, and they want you to not have the tools to be able to make them take accountability, because at the end of the day, they have done something, or they're denying themselves healing. And so we already touched on this, they want you to be down there with them. They want people to be able to congregate with them. But essentially, they just got to raise their vibrations to be able to speak with you and to be able to congregate with you. Otherwise, you just have to ignore them, and you have to truly look at them for who they are, and look at the words for what they are, and maybe even, take it in and assess yourself and see, am I perpetually trying to make myself a victim in this way? Because, that's part of being self-aware. Because there are people out here, that word exists for a reason. There are people out here that do those things, but you have to apply it to yourself and know yourself to be able to be like, you know what? No, that's not who I am. I know who I am. That's not who I am. Okay, that was loud. That's not who I am. But, okay, y'all doing too much. That person in this description of what this word is, that's not who I am. But I am oppressed, and I do have these things, these systems working against me, and I can acknowledge that. But at the same time, I know that I'm not the person to live in that. Even though that's what this person is trying to tell me and trying to project on me, I know that I'm not that person. And that's what it just genuinely comes down to at the end of the day, is knowing yourself, knowing who you are, and not allowing anyone else to tell you differently, not allowing people to gaslight you out of your experience and out of your reality. Because when they can do that, then they can manipulate you again. Then they can keep projecting on you, and you will take everything in negative and find yourself in a space that doesn't feel authentic and doesn't feel real to you and doesn't feel truthful and doesn't feel productive. Acknowledge the things that have happened to you. Grow from those things. Do some meditation. Like, go within your body. See what type of habits those things may be projected into your now life. Like, because with sociology and just with psychology and all these things, we have to look back in our past and look back at the things that have happened to us, because those things inform our habits and the ways we move and our personalities and this, that, the other. So acknowledging those things at the end of the day is truly essential. And just the human experience, or for an evolved person and an emotionally intelligent person, and someone that wants to be better for their community and for themselves, you know, you acknowledge those things and you just, you know, do what you gotta do. Talk to the people you need to talk to. Cuss out the people you need to curse out. But yeah, that's all I have for this video. I just wanted to say that really quick, because there's a lot of content and a lot of people out here just talking about victim mentality, this, that, the other, and it really irks my spirit and it irks my nerves, because it mirrors and it conjures up those trauma responses and my trauma with people that have abused me, that were narcissists and stuff. Because I know where I know what that is coming from. You calling someone, saying that they're in a victim mindset, this, that, the other, you are trying to hurt them. That is not coming from a positive place, and that is not coming from a productive place. Whenever you hear that, especially when it's used as an insult, that's how I can use my discernment and know the difference for if you're actually trying to help me, and when you're trying to insult me and gaslight me out of whatever experiences. But yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you found some type of value in it, and I hope it helps you on your journey in some kind of way. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all.